Welcome to PTSD Self-Healing Show. I'm your host, Pantea Kalhor. Episode 4, PTSD Recovery with EFT with Richard Morden, certified EFT practitioner and emotional success coach. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel and get notification for new interviews and pre-order my book Naturally Conceived through Amazon. Get pregnant by unleashing your reproduction power. Anybody these days can hear about EFT tapping and how it can affect treatment for PTSD. I'm really excited to have somebody here to talk about EFT. He is Richard Morden, and he uses EFT guided sessions to bring healing to clients from trauma, PTSD, anxiety, depression, panic attacks, and other deep-rooted issues that often traditional therapy cannot resolve. So, welcome to our show, Richard. I'm very excited to have you here, and can't wait to hear what you're talking about this method.
Thank you, Pantea. I said it correctly. It's an honor to be here. I'm looking forward to this conversation. Again, getting our message out is so important for what we can do to help people. I think a lot of people still don't know there's so much alternative care for them in this realm of medicine that we can access. You know, we're and nothing wrong. There's a lot of great traditional work, but I think if you want to look outside that to what else is available to you, it's there's some great methodologies. Opportunities, some wonderful practitioners out there in different areas that, I mean, we all care. We all want to help people, right? And so whatever works with the client, whatever works with that connection with the practitioner and the client is key. So, yes.
Yes. All right, Richard, tell me about yourself. How did you end up doing this, and why, how long have you been doing it?
I discovered this in, I guess, April of 2013. I've always been a reader of different things and studying, and somehow this popped up on a webinar series of Nick and Jessica Ortner called the Tapping Summit. And this is around April or so, and I started watching it. And I'd heard a little bit before, but it intrigued me. And I'd sort of been on a search for different things too over the years, and this popped up, and I didn't realize how important it would be in my life, because that was April and June of 2013. I lost my wife due to a brain aneurysm. So
sorry.
Okay, and now thank you for that. But I had, my son was 18, my daughter 17. My son just finished university. My daughter was just finished, almost out of high school before. We had that make decision to take her off life support. So I thought, I need something to really help me be present. I love being dad. We were always a family like that. I wanted to be more present with my kids. So I thought I was doing this just with what I saw online. And I thought, it's helping, right? And I was, doing everything else. And we had good family around us, my in-laws. So we were not, yes, we lost something important, but we were not alone. So I thought I wanted to be better than I could be emotionally. So I, again, working on it, and I looked for a course, and I found one in October of that year, 2013. So that was a few months after my wife had passed. I thought, okay, I'll take this 3-day course in introductory to EFT, and I was looking forward to it. And I thought, okay, I'll work on what happened in my recent life. And I went into the course very open, and I had major traumatic experiences, 2 major traumatic experiences I'm exposed during that course, and were not even related to anything about my wife. I had a memory come up with my father. He was military, so pretty hard-nosed and very strong and probably physical in a sense. I had another one come up with my brother's suicide. Those were hidden traumas I had no idea were in my body. And it was like a volcano would come out of me that weekend, and I was sweating. It was just like, it was a major, and I really looked at that after, as we said, now, if you want to find somebody to work with and connect with the other people in the course, they'll help you do your own work. So I tried. I was phoning out people because we were just new. We were learning to practice with each other, and they just never seemed to work. So I took the course again in 2014 with a lady named Nancy Forrester, who's a master trainer. And just a wonderful lady who's building a credible community. And then I took her 10-month course with that as well. And she's a retired psychotherapist and her Harness Your Power course. So I really got into doing my own personal work. And that was what we were sort of directed by. I love doing my own work because I realized there's a lot of junk. A lot of junk in there of family experiences and generational. So I've been very committed to doing my own work ever since. And it helped because I was present with my children. I was there for them emotionally. I was there for them physically. I was there anyways. My daughter went off to university and my son was at home. So I was always around them. I love being dad, but I was there emotionally available to them. And I focused on my self-care to be there for them. And just, it worked. Blessed for them, they went on to their schooling, finished their education, and my son's a nurse and my daughter's got her degree. And
Great.
I was fortunate that we had support, but I did my work.
The good thing is you actually practice it on yourself first. That's the thing about the PTSD practitioner, because I am also a PTSD practitioner. I had to go over lots of traumas in my life. But the point is, as you said, you have to start it from yourself first. Yes. You have to decide that you want to recover, you want to leave, and because you had kids and you want to take care of them. So you were very decisive to do this for yourself.
And I enjoyed it. Yes. I enjoyed the process. I love the process of having colleagues to work with and that connection. With PTSD and yourself, you include, we often think we're alone, and we want to isolate in this container of drama that we have, right? And so to have practitioners there that support you and care about you, and it's so important for us to process our own traumas, right? Because as I work with clients, I'm not in anybody's story.
No, everybody's unique. Yeah.
I'm not triggered by their story, but I'm compassionate to their story. I'm compassionate with them, but I'm not energetically connected in the sense. So I don't feel drained because, oh my God, that really triggered me. No, I'm holding space as you are for a client, and that's the best place we can be. And again, I love doing my own work. I love practicing with people because stuff shows up you couldn't imagine.
I have lots of questions from you because this EFT method recently is spoken everywhere. And not anybody knows about this, especially me. I know about this a little bit, but I haven't practiced it yet. I know about the tapping, but I don't know exactly how is the process. Do you take your patient to the past, exactly the moment the accident happened, or what do you do? How do you work with the patient?
My first priority with the patient is grounding them to be safe. I really want to know their nervous system is very calm, because oftentimes in other therapies we want to go right into the memory, but there's so many ways we can access that memory. Of different ways of looking at it as well, because yes, the memory's inside us energetically and our nervous system's connected to it, but I want to look at how can I bring that memory up, whether it be a movie scene, and the movie scene doesn't have to play like we're in it, because we can separate you from the scene. We can play the movie scene at a distance. If it starts how it starts out, we can put it out off to an angle, like whatever is awareness to you that's safe. We can change the color so you're not being triggered by it, but we can still work emotionally with it. So my whole role is for you to be emotionally safe in this. And if it is a movie scene, then they can quietly play it or talk about it. Sometimes people have traumas that are very intimate, and I don't need to know those what transpired, but I want to know, you can play it in your mind, how are you feeling? We can stop like a movie and back it up, so you can work to it, but you still have your people get sexually abused. I don't need to know the details. You can run through them in your heads, and so you're feeling safe and not vulnerable in that process. And how do you want to play that movie out? And we also say if it gets, and we can back out of it, or we can do like a matrix reimprinting. We can actually step into the scene as an avatar. So it's all imagination, but when you step in as as a third party to a younger self, and whether you call it, we call it an echo energetic hologram or a younger self. There's ways we can connect to that younger self. There's ways we can resource that person. And memories are not accurate many times because they're perceptual. And take example, this is a classic, somebody almost drowned as a child. Everybody's swimming sometimes and went their head under the water for 5 seconds and it feels like an eternity. You have adults get in the water, 40 years later, and they start to panic because if their head's under the water for a second, that memory's coming up. So we can we know they didn't drown. We can go into that memory and work the energy in a very safe way, but those are minor ones, but they still have impacts in this, how it affects your life. So there's many ways I can approach it. I'm really try intuitively what's going to work, what is safe for you. The methodology is there, how we choose to use it, and we have to put things in place, some safety measures, so if it isn't too dramatic. And it's not a one session. The biggest point I want to say, EFT is not a one session breakout. It takes time.
Exactly. Yes, I believe in it. You need, I had an accident, and I talk about these accidents everywhere. But somebody robbed my car, threw me out of the car, and treated me with the knife point. And this accident not going to happen is not a very common accident. And I had this nightmare. Somebody's following me all the time. And I always look at my shoulder. Oh, is there anybody following me? So these nightmares was with me for years. By the time I tried to work on myself. So by that time I said, okay, I'm going to work on myself and I'm going to feel safe, as you said. That's very important. If you feel insecure and you feel that this trauma is going to following you, then another trauma going to happen and follow you again. So this is going to be sequential traumas after each other. So I've heard about it from a lot of people. They say they are very unlucky to have these traumas sequentially, but this is not luck. A lot of things happens here because you try to rewind this movie all the time, and then yes, it's going to repeat it in your life. Yeah.
Well, your thoughts create feelings, and feelings create emotions, and emotions are what the law of attraction is energy.
Yeah.
So we do recreate these over and over. And when you look at many things in life, that 0 to 7 years of age is our formation of our life and our thoughts and beliefs, and it's largely an emotional memory period.
Mm-hmm.
So
yes.
Even that age, we can relive traumas that happened to us as a child, not even knowing we had experience with them. So, but if you're focused on it, even in your mind, something else is going to happen because your mind's always drawing that in.
Yeah, exactly.
What you're thinking about. Yeah.
Yes. So what do you do when you trigger with a trauma? Again, something happened to you and you remind those trauma again. And what do you do, or what do you suggest to your clients to do?
Well, again, I teach the tapping as we go. So how to calm their nervous system. It's a methodology because it's touch points, it's acupressure points on the body. So I'm teaching it as I go. And I'm happy to share that with people just for self-care. It's a mess. Officially, like when we're stressed, we have cortisol goes, they say it's in our brain, but it's through our whole body. When we're highly stressed, most of our blood leaves the front part of our brain, goes to the back, and we're in fight or flight. And many of us are in there like most of the day. We have a society today that is like super stressed like crazy, right? And we're in this fight or flight. So I'm really work on teaching them the tapping method themselves. And so I'm encouraging them to use it on themselves after we're done the session. So I'm a practitioner and I'm a guide. I don't fix you. You're actually doing the healing because you're tapping on you.
Mm-hmm.
And the moment you start, within a period of time, probably less than an hour, you've dropped the cortisol level in your system, by at least 25%. Continuing, and then you're calming your brain down, you're calming the amygdala. I don't have it all scientifically, but there's the amygdala is always on the lookout for what's danger. When you start to calm that down, your system, the fight or flight, tends to calm down. So because the old safety is we don't feel safe anywhere we are. Someone who suffered PTSD, it cycles in and out throughout the day, but their whole body's on high alert. Their brain is racing with thoughts. So when we're teaching them, with the tapping, and I'm with them because now 2 people are here in this process, the energy is exponential. And on your own, you cannot go into any danger with your body because it's sort of a built-in safety mechanism. So you just tap, and it seems weird, and people say, "Well, it's awkward." Well, being in stress mode is, what do you want to be? Awkward or stressed? Pick one, and just use those tapping points over and over. There's hand holds, there's head holds, there's body position holds to start to calm your system down. We naturally do this anyway. We naturally cuddle up and huddle up like that. We naturally grab our systems or body touch points. If you really want, you can want to look online. But again, we can do these and breathing, things like that. So just that alone, Donna Eden's medicine or energy medicine, just holding like that, just and I use body talk access as a tapping method too. It's another methodology and does wonders because it activates the brain, the heart, the head brain, the heart brain, and the gut brain. So there's ways we can do this if you're willing to do some of your own work.
Interesting is that the difference between therapy and coaching. Because when you coach someone, the whole responsibility is the person you're coaching. Because it's a self-healing process. You try to help them to be themselves and to help themselves. For the therapists, usually we rely on therapists to help us. And that's great that you can also teach them and you try to make them more independent on themselves, which is perfect because that's what we need. We need to heal ourselves and be ourselves first.
I really, my work is to teach people to be self-full. And it's not selfish, it's self-full, so self-empowerment. And really, when we start the journey, where are you in this journey when we start? So you have, and I say write it down because you remember, we sometimes forget in our journey, no matter how our life goes, we always seem to be stuck somewhere else. So when you remember, like say after several months of working with somebody, you don't realize that your stress levels went from a 12 down to a 4 on a sort of a measurement scale, and you're actually doing things that you had not done before. It's like a phobia. People forget maybe they had a fear of spiders. I didn't have a fear of spiders. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. It's like it's just you forget where you were. So the self-empowerment point is when you measure yourself or track yourself and you take some notes. And unfortunately, when I'm blessed that people have actually listened to me, wrote notes down because they come back years later. And when I was just reviewing my notes, I'm saying, wow, you're still looking at those? And measuring themselves and going, really is how empowered they have become. And that's, when I hear of I heard one gentleman who's a psychiatrist, and he said he had a client for 23 years. And I was like, how much did she pay you? Like
23 years. So
23 years. She bought him a house, I think, probably.
He was not huge.
We empower, and many of us like that, we empower the client that we own it, that they can go on and take care of themselves. If they need some help, come back and we'll do some work for a little short period of time to make you through that next step. I have a coach too. I have people I work with that help me grow and prosper as well. So, on your own, it's self-care. 2 people, it takes a practitioner to make breakthroughs, and it's safe. And I really want to qualify in a safe manner because we can, if we're not careful, we can trigger somebody into a very strong adverse reaction. So our coaching was when I was trained, and Nancy's work with people is very much safety, very much taking care of the nervous system and the whole process. So you're always in a sense of your own resilience. That's where we want to work with people. 2 people to break through, 1 person in self-care.
I talked during these days talking with different people, medical doctors and healers, psychologists, everyone. And it's so interesting. Medical doctors always saying, don't trust too much to doctors. Because when you rely on the doctors, drugs, medicines, so that it means that you don't trust yourself. They can help you, they can support you, but at the end of the day, that's you to take this treatment or not. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, when we look at the way it works in that scenario, I mean, the medical society's done a great, system's done a great job with that in a sense, but we're managing symptoms. We're managing the pain or the emotional turmoil, but we're not getting to root cause. So my work with people, and many of us are getting to root cause. What's actually going on in your body, that we can resolve the trigger point in there. So you have because in that trigger point, there's a collapse of energy in your system that just holds that energy in place, and also a memory in there is a belief about ourselves. And it could be multiple beliefs. When we can get to that course of where is that trigger point in there, and then perhaps your core belief, we can reframe that. One, release the emotional trigger, because it's an energy in the system. And get people for the first time starting to feel their body. Like, what do you mean feel most people are up here, they're just totally in their head, and their body's just they're disconnected. So getting somebody to feel their body and then working through the system so they can release the energy of it. Then, okay, now how do you it just comes out like it's an experience for many people. What do you mean feel my body? Where? And I said, well, we get the knots in our stomach. We're so used to knots in our stomach or almost like a chest pain or a throat congestion where we can't speak our
truth. Because you feel that you're choking when there are lots of pressures on you. You have lots of pressure here too. Yeah, I like that.
People carry like lots of weight on their neck and shoulders when they're carrying family loads. Like, you're the major caregiver, and it's just, you see it over time, the years, their body starts to shape like that. People are, they're hunched over, they're crunched in, they have, ongoing aches and pains. The body is, what's it, Kessel van der Kolk was a big proponent of PTSD. He's a Dutch psychologist, does wonderful work. His book is called The Body Keeps the Score, but he says, and it's true, it holds all our memories, and it's all your experiences, and it shows on people. It shows on long-term illnesses, diseases, discord, aches and pains, like tremendous, like joints seize up. So that's all our energy system, and then everything else comes in.
A lot of terms, it's already in our cultures and languages. You say shoulders, we say this person has lot on his shoulder, lots of burden in his shoulder. That's the same with the points. That's right, as you said, when I just compare, because we have lots of pain here and lots of pain here on the chest because of those pressures, and the nervous system going to be affected here in this part. I like that.
Oh, it's when the energy, again, we have an energy electrical system. When it gets congested because the body holds emotional memories. The brain access, but the body's a holder, and oftentimes the body will hold the memory so we don't remember it. I always consider the body has its own intelligence system. And when we start to really go into this work, we can literally ask our body, what does it need? If you're looking for a right vitamin, just whether you call it kinesiology or muscle testing, if you're holding a vitamin, what is this good for me? Your body will know. It has, we have that sensory, and what's good for me to eat and what's not. And we could say beer's not good for us, but it tastes good, right? Or wine, but I mean, we still do those things as well. But it's learning to really communicate with ourselves. And I would say come home to our body, because we're not taught to be in our body. We're taught to be out there fighting all these battles and doing all these things that the media wants us to do, but we need to come here.
I like it. So I have two questions. First of all, do you think that the PTSD is curable?
Yes. But I will say, and this is from another couple, Craig and Lena Wiener talks about this, Craig Wiener and Lena Frank, that you're never fully free of a traumatic memory.
Yes.
because it still becomes a core of who you are. I look at traumatic memories as soccer balls because there's aspects of it. Often we're working on a particular aspect of a memory because of a direction we want to go in life. You know, and people, and the most important thing to say, people say, "Oh, I've worked in that. It's all gone and done." Wrong, totally wrong. But it's still part of our system energetically. It's what helps shapes us too, whether it be a war event or an accident. But again, looking to where you want to go in life, and to say if you've worked on, okay, but have you worked on it over here? Because now I want, you know, let's say we want to have good working relationships. Relationships are key points. So we've worked on traumatic memories for maybe somebody have, maybe we've lost people we love, and so we have good work relationships. But now it comes to personal relationships or intimate relationships, and we have now it's a block. I mean, why is it a block? I worked on, but that work is a different energetic aspect of itself. You know, to having personal relationships, having relationships with someone's children. You know, you may have lost somebody's lost a child. All of a sudden, you're in a new relationship with children, and you're like, I don't know how to connect with them because I've lost, you know. Or you've lost pets, and we've all had that. So it's going to come up in aspects or points of view of your life. So it's still, you're never fully free,
Exactly.
but you can still live a pretty good life.
Because if you lose your child, you cannot even forget it. Never.
No.
So you always have it in your mind, and inside your body, you always feel it. But it's not the end of the world. Life continues and you have to live. That's the point. And you may have other dependencies to take care. Other people you may need to take care. So I have other questions too. Let's say, let me ask this like that. All right. If somebody come to you or want seek for help and support, it means he's one step ahead because he knows that he wants to be healed, and you have this awareness of yourself. You don't hate yourself, you know, or you deeply you like to be healed. But sometimes you have other people around you that they don't want to be healed. They want to be dying. So they want to die. They are very depressed, and you don't know how to help them. How can you help them if they don't want to cooperate?
Well, one is take care of yourself, self-care, because if you're, it's like someone who's like, and we want to save somebody. And what happens, but our energy fields get hooked into them. Like we want to, and loving parents, we want to rescue a sibling or a child who has a condition. You know, maybe they're drinking or drugs, and we get so hooked into trying to save them that our energy fields are so intertwined, we can't do anything for ourselves. So one is learning, and it's hard because we think I have to rescue you, I have to do this. Is to be in your own, like take care of yourself first, and then. And you know, how can I work with this person, but I'm not tied to you? You know, you may love the person dearly, but I'm not. My drama isn't with you. And I know it's hard with children and parents and everything like that, but just energetically, where you're calm, you have awareness, and you're making decisions that's valuable for you to live well, but not ignoring the other person. But you have much better, like I said, when somebody's in their state, I'm not in your story, but I'm able to help assist in the awareness of asking questions for helping them. And then can I get someone else to work with them? You know, they may never want to be better. They may never want to, like siblings, but at least I'm not in the drama. I can still love you. I can still be part of your life in some form, but I may have to really be self-care. I'm not here to sacrifice myself for you. It's not disrespectful, but you know, we each have our journey. And I can say it honestly, my siblings are all, I mean, I had 5 older siblings. They're all gone. You know, alcoholism, suicide, cancer, you know, emphysema. So my last one sister has dementia. So, I mean, we looked at our upbringing. It's like, I think there was some dysfunction there because they're gone and I'm still here. So
That's a good.
it's not being in someone's story. And it's a side note, when somebody does make a change in their life and we're looking for approval, let's say someone is an alcoholic and they want to but they will go back to a family reunion. Family's the big dynamic, right? But the family may still see them as an alcoholic. And it's like, but I've changed, and oh, why you quit drinking last, so whatever. But when you energetically shift that perspective with each person, and you can do that with EFT, we can energetically bring someone up to in front of you and do some tapping, so your energy is just, you're not hooked in their field. Those relationships will change,
So
and that's
yeah, go ahead.
go ahead. No?
So if it's your very close person to you, like your child or your partner, how can you deal with it? Because I've heard about it a lot. Some parents have lots of problem with their kids. They don't know how to handle it, and they really wish to help, but the kids refuse to get help.
Again, self-care is primary for you, so you're not, oh, I know we want to fix them. I know, so it's self-care for you, that you can hold that space, and maybe it has to be some tough love, that whatever, because at that point you make better decisions. Whatever you can bring in, like a therapist, a practitioner that actually wants to work with you. I mean, I don't have a solid answer, because it's, again, if you've got an 18-year-old that's very self-destructive and you're trying to save them, but if it's killing you, to the point you have to have your own awareness of what you need to do. I'll give you a quick scenario. Someone else I knew was doing a lot of personal work, and there was an EFT to use another modality. Long-term marriage, and they're really struggling, but she said finally when she got to the point of she released everything and just hit that free point, I feel free, her partner made a shift. Because the energy was free. So that's, again, because when we are so much and want to rescue, the other person knows, well, it doesn't matter what I'm doing, because you're always going to save me. You're always going to be there for me. You're always going to save me. And we have that modality. And I can say it honestly with my, my brother committed suicide. I knew he was in bad shape, but I just, he called me. I didn't call him back. I said, man, I'd been many phone calls before, and I thought, I'm not there to save you this time. Like, I didn't know that at the time. I just said, I'll call him back tomorrow. I just had enough. And he took his life the next day. Now, I could say that was trauma, because I had to identify his body and all that, but I mean, and that can happen. And I don't mean for any parent to have to see that as a child, but again, self-care. Because you have a relationship with your partner, that you can still go to work, you can still take care of your family, and it gives you a better state of mind how to hold space for that child that's so destructive. And what are the measures in place? Like, and that's, and today, do I have the magic answer for what's going on today with all this drama that's going out there? No, I don't have a magic answer, other than just calming your own self down, taking care of your own needs, depression-wise, anxiety, that you can be functional to make good decisions in your life, not feed your face in front of a TV and being depressed all day.
Yes. Good to know, because it's a really difficult situation. I've seen it so many times, and it's so devastating when you see that you cannot help them.
Yeah.
And unless they come to their own awareness that they want to be healed. Yeah.
But the parents, it's important for the parents to care for themselves.
Yes.
Because I've seen where a child's tried to commit self-harm, and if the parents can manage their own emotions, they're in a much better state to be there for the child, to maybe force decisions or do something that's not, because then you're never sleeping, because you're always worried. You're never off your high alert. So your greatest fear becomes, what are you going to attract?
Yes, because probably that worries worrying it too much, and lots of pressure and forces that you put on your kid it's not gonna help it. It's more and more destructive. Yes. And
something I want to think of, though, when sometimes children have anxiety because they're self-destructive, when they start to do something well, say they're making what they call positive steps, I say, my opinion, that we foundation with simple steps and build foundations. Not, okay, they're better, they're out there, they got a job, they're doing everything, but because they've been depressed and maybe in a bedroom for 18 months or something, also now they get, hey, he's got a job, it's all good. No, it's not all good. They've made a step. build a foundation with that step, because all of a sudden they're spinning too many plates. They don't have the nervous system capacity to do everything that you did and go out and do all these things. Because the first thing that goes wrong, you're going to collapse again.
Wow.
It's going to fall. It's going to, too many things are going, because they all of a sudden, well, now it's one step at a time. Build a foundation. If maybe they've gone out and got a job or something, or done something that's positive, build that as a foundation. Well, okay, and so that becomes their norm. Because being depressed has been a norm for 18 months. Now all of a sudden I got a job, and that's not norm. That's a new vibration. I don't care where they come from. When you lose that confidence, it takes time for that confidence to come back. And then build the next step. Okay, they're going to work. What else can I do? That one thing at a time that they can start to do. What else are they going to do? They're going to start, cooking for themselves. They're going to start, little things. I don't know, whatever. But it's not. I've heard people say, "Oh yeah, everything's good. They're all back to normal."
No.
It doesn't sustain itself.
And I think in one family, both you have 2 kids, 4 kids, whatever. All of them are so different, even if they are raised by the good parents, same parents, good parents, but all of them are different. Like I have 3 other brothers, but none of them are the same. Even me, we had different fields, study different things, and doing different things. We are not really the same, but the deep nature is the same, that we know that we are siblings because we are from the same parents. Yeah.
But I also say there's a Mark, I can't think of the book is not The Body Keeps the Score, but the book it didn't start with you, and it talks about emotional traumas that come through generational. And that can, because it's cellular memory. They talk, I don't know how many generations, 7 or 10 generations of cellular memory from experiences. Many of us have come from war-torn countries. And those traumatic experiences are cellular memories in our body. So it may show up in a child. And anyway, if it didn't start with you, but the book is, I can't think, his name is Mark, I can't remember his last name, but it talks about this pattern may show up in a child. And you think, where did this come from? Where did this memory come from? Why is this child behaving? We've never exposed that. So that can be in siblings, right? And or it takes after characteristic in the family. And you always, you act like Uncle Fred. He just had a bad temper like you. So that child's got a temper like Fred, and your sister has a pattern from your great grandfather, and you think this is what shows up in our characteristics in our family.
Yeah, and environment also. Let's say if you were in the war and you already affected by war, this gonna stay with you, and you may carry it to your childhood, to your adulthood.
Yes.
Yeah, and the whole generation gonna be affected. It's not only you, and you may carry it, give it to your kid, even if that kid was not inside the war, but still get it from you, because you actually hold all those emotions and those destructive feelings and memories. You unintentionally you give it to your kid. Yes.
Kessel talks about that. He said, for every person who comes back from war, they affect 7 people.
Wow.
So you look at, and that's family, your immediate spouse, and especially what they call the shell shock. But again, those behaviors, but again, the silence, the behavior, the not safe, and then all the things go on. And it could be very much violence, the drugs that come with that as well. So you're right, but coming through war, someone can be 2 or 3 generations from a war and still have those memories in their system.
Yes.
And we wonder why we act so crazy, or why you'll see generations of families where the women are single. They have their partners die, or they end up with divorce, and it's because we carry those emotional memory patterns as well.
Yes, yes, you're right.
So the biggest memory I think I wanted to address is the so-called the abuse that happens in families, because what it was, we don't talk about that, but that silence perpetuates the problem. It's because it becomes that silent abusive cycle, or the fact that sometimes when somebody was abused physically or sexually, and they've gone to a parent for help, and a parent punishes them and says, we don't talk about that. So this is, and it's not, it's probably more common than we ever want to admit
And as you
in
say,
families.
their emotion is here for years,
Yeah,
years, and should be released somehow.
yeah.
Sometimes it just releasing their angers or some other unexpected emotions and feeling and reactions, but you don't know what's the hidden secrets of these reactions actually. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't, when someone comes to the table, I would say if you sat down at the dinner table and you had 20 people, you have no idea what experiences are. And somebody who looks, I would say, you wouldn't give a second thought, they look very modest. And we have no idea what they've experienced. And,
Yeah,
you know,
you
when they,
don't know the root cause, you don't know.
no.
No. Okay, do you have any program or any website, anything that you can offer to my audience?
On my Facebook page I have a personal page, but there's Life Transformation Coach is my one page. So I'm on there for somebody to reach out to me. My website just in progress. I have one page up right now. I'm getting content created for it. They're just reaching out in the sense of the areas I work in, but I mean, I often will recommend just somebody go watch some videos on it. Like if they want to learn about EFT tapping, I use that as a resource so they feel comfortable that this is something they want to do. And even having the conversation, people say, well, that's in the past. But oftentimes in discussion, I'm not there to dig up the past, but we can find out that you're still being blocked by those memories. You know, you're still having that resistance. And I even myself, I just did some work on weekend with a fellow, and I thought, oh my goodness, there's a whole bunch of things I still have to work on that were showing up in because everything is energy.
Yeah.
And when we have beliefs of challenge in our life, energetically, that's how our life is flowing. And I laugh when I talk with people asking questions. I had a sheet in front of me there. I mean, I've 4 personal phone calls with people who died that I care about. You know, when my brother died, when my wife died, and if my other brother died, and those are phone calls. You think do you think the phone is my friend? You know, do I want to pick up? I'm using it, but I thought, man, is there a belief in there that I'm still hanging on to? You know, just looking at that. So right now, again, I'm just still processing my message app, but my life transformation coach with Richard Morden is probably my best page to look at who I am, some of the things I do. And then just I have a LinkedIn profile as well. Again, free course. I offer people introductory session, a consultation. I offer them the body talk access tapping as well, just so they can take that with them. You know, so I'm not here to sell people things. I want to know if they want to desire to make some difference in their life, and where do they want to make that difference.
Great. If you want to summarize your message in one sentence, what do you say?
I bring people emotional freedom, peace, and calm by using a method called tapping to interrupt those patterns. Would you interrupt those troublesome, bothersome patterns in your life and finally have a bit of peace, calm, and balance in your life?
Great. One sentence. All right. Thank you so much to be here. I really enjoy that. And I really wish to learn about tapping myself, really. That's a great treatment because I know I struggled a lot to heal myself during those dark times. And it takes time. I wanted to be healed. I wanted to be happy. So that was the first step. I already had it in mind. And I was so lucky that I could help myself. But probably if I had somebody to work with me in the beginning, so I didn't have to go a long way alone by myself. That's a great feeling when you know that somebody's helping you and give you a lot of help, care, and support.
Well, absolutely. On your own, it seems like an endless journey, and we don't know our own invisible walls. Yes. And especially with tapping, we can't break through the big patterns by ourselves because the system doesn't let us.
Yes.
And so you need 2 people, and you need a practitioner And there's more than me out there that understand how to be safe and guide you through that process.
To be
Safe, but
independent, to self yourself. And that's the
yeah.
best part of it. Yeah. Thank you so much, Richard. I love it. And hopefully my audience also enjoyed the same.
Thank you, Pantea. Pantea, I really enjoy being here. I'd love to do this again. So thank you very much. So.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.